Hi, it's Willie Jang again, founders and growth hackers. Today, we are going to talk about what is structural SEO. And if you are a subscriber or you watch this YouTube channel a lot, you know that I mention over and over again during my SEO strategy review of all those tech unicorns such as Zapier, such as TripAdvisor. They all use structural SEO to scale and to lower the cost of user acquisition. And so today I'm going to kind of specifically talk about this SEO strategy that's been pretty much everywhere in all the marketplace startups, especially in marketplace startups. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Right, so, all right, let me minimize my screen. All right, so the official definition of structural SEO. So it is a process of systematically structuring a website so that its pages rank well on Google or other search engines for multiple keyword combinations naturally. Okay, so just like the term growth hack, structural SEO has been applied widely, yet it did not have a name until someone coined the term, right? And in this case, it happened to be me. And it's definitely a thing. It's just that there's haven't been anyone that been actively trying to kind of collect examples or doing reviews on our website, right? And it's again the most commonly applied to online marketplaces. I'm talking about two-sided marketplaces where you have supplier and the buyers. Okay, so and let's look at examples of structural SEO. So I'm gonna go one by one. I actually have done 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5 or 6 of unicorn startups, SEO strategy reviews, and they are pretty good examples of structural SEO if you were to apply structural SEO to your startup. So the first thing, let's look at Booking.com, and when they are apply structural SEO to their website, what they are really trying to rank for is vacation home in a location. So, and they have to structure in the website in a way so that it doesn't matter what location is. So that turned out to be pretty hard because it's like, I don't know, million cities in the world. And they are trying to rank well for all of them, right? And same, and to make it even more complicated, they are trying to rank for hotel, they're trying for attraction, they're trying for resort. And if you watch the whole video of this one, you will see that what Booking.com has done successfully is consistently ranking very, very well for the keyword hotel plus location. So that includes any major cities in the world, which is pretty crazy, except for China. Is it China? I haven't checked. If you check, comment below. Let me know. Okay. So that's the first example. And the second example is Zapier. Now, obviously, their main keywords and buyer personas are very different, and so the way Zapier approach structural SEO is basically what I call a app based, right? So if you Google a single app, right, such as Google Sheet, right, and if you just Google Sheet integration, then you'll find that rank well. And then take that Google Sheet and you think about what's the combination with Google Sheet, right? Google Sheet with Shopify, Google Sheet with I don't know, Google Analytics. It's just everything. So in this particular strategy review, you can see that Zapier is they created about 4 structural SEO pages, and the first one is the category app, right? So like apps in the same categories, right? So in this case here, I use the HR apps or softwares, right? So if someone go on Google to search that, they have a page contain a long list of HR softwares, and that it's built into the structure, And the second thing is dedicated page for the app, just like I said, it's app based, right? So that's for individual apps, right? And then you have the landing, a dedicated landing page for app to app, right? App A to app B, right? So and the combination of those keywords is, I don't want to say countless, but a huge number of apps. And if anyone knows the math equation to calculate that, comment below. I'm interested to see who are you guys, like myself, it's a geek. And the fourth type of dedicated page is each action, a trigger to action of each app to app integration. So it got 4 levels, right? It's category level and the individual app level, app to app level, then app to app, and the trigger to action level. So if you do the math, that sort of automatically create just so many pages, right? And that amount of page, it makes the explosive growth possible, right? So I did a research. They are about 235,000 pages creating with this structural SEO strategy, and because of that, they have, let me see, what's the traffic number? Oh, there you go. So 5 million monthly visitors, right? And that's about 45% of Zapier's growth, right? And so, it create incredible amount of pages, and then, hence it attract incredible amount of traffic, right? So, and the third example here is House, right? And House is kind of similar to Booking.com if we are talking about attracting local demand, basically. Well, I mean, people are searching local terms, right? They are searching for a specific geolocation, right? And even if you search near me on your phone or your laptop, it essentially telling Google take my IP and then tell me what's the business around me, what's the, I don't know, restaurants, home improvement company, whatever around me, right? So near me is the same idea as in telling Google to check with a geolocation. So for House, they approach here's how they implemented structural SEO. So they created 6 type of pages, and they act like a template for the same kind of pages, such as ideal page. So this is to targeting search queries that says kitchen ideas or like a basement renovation ideas, right? So, and then it could be patio renovation ideas, right? It's just different home improvement plus idea, landscape ideas, right? So that's the ideal page's job, to attracting those pages. And of course, it's using different dedicated page for each keyword, of course. And then it has the location targeting page, which could be targeting something like Again, like I live in Toronto, so that's Toronto landscaping company, right? If I Google that, or I Google basement renovation or basement remodeling companies in Toronto, so that's location plus the business, right? And they have the listing page, search result page on house to attract that type of search queries on Google, right? And that's the second type. And then the third type is the supplier page. So that's individual renovator. I think they should be contractor. I'm not sure the appropriate term. But let's just call them contractor. You know what I mean? Okay, so it's company, right? So and that individual business profile can attract review related pages. So if I Google one company and then plus the company's name and then plus review, and if they are on house, it's very likely they rank well on Google. So that's the third type. And then they also sell products as well. So they have a product primary category, and then they have product secondary category, and then product tertiary category, right? So I'm going to show you a image to let you understand what I mean. So this is what I mean by primary category, secondary category, and then the tertiary category, right? So each of those, the combination is that, let's just say outdoor, that's the primary category, right? Outdoor furniture on sale, right? If you Google that, and houses trying to rank well for those terms, right? And you go deeper, like living room furniture on sale, right? And they will have a category page or a search result page, however you want to call it, just there, and to attract the relevant keywords, So this is how it works. So they have, again, 6 type of structural SEO pages, right? This is house, and then we have TripAdvisor and Yelp. And by the way, TripAdvisor and Yelp are the ones that really kind of get me to notice structural SEO over Zillow. I think it's Zillow, either Zillow or them. So they are the first company that first time I realized, doesn't matter what city I search about restaurant, those two companies always rank on top 3. And then as an SEO profession early on in my career, I get pretty curious, like, how the hell did they do it? This is amazing. And, and here I am, I guess many years later have accumulating all the experience, and finally I knows how it work under the hood, basically, and knows how to reverse engineering it. Okay, so anyway, and in this particular review, I actually trying to compare house with Yelp.com TripAdvisor with Yelp, and I only take TripAdvisor as an example to demonstrate how they implemented structural SEO. So again, they have different level of pages, right? So at location level, at category level, and a business profile level, right? And also it has local level, and here I use Port Dover as an example, right? So if you Google tourism in Port Dover, which is a small town in Ontario, then you find this page rank on top 3, and this is what I mean by location, right? And then you have the category a page, right? So if I go to the poured over page, and then there are different categories of things I can track, such as things to do, attraction, something like restaurants in poured over, just different type of just different categories that I can do in poured over, right? And now you have to multiply that by the amount of city in Canada. If you are talking about Yelp.ca, if you talk about Yelp.com, then you gotta multiply that, the category, number of category, and multiply by the number of towns, right? And so gigantic number of pages will be created this way. And so that's the second level. And then you have the third level, which is business profile level, where again, it's targeting, mostly targeting review related searches on Google, right? And here I actually, so I guess we can talk about this later, the user-generated content. This is one of the hardest part of structural SEO, because I have a metaphor. If structural SEO is an engine that you built, right, then user-generated content is the automobile of the growth, and because Google love unique content, right? And UGC is typically it's unique content, and and UGC is scalable, right? And also UGC strategy is very hard to copy, right? Even if you can, structural SEO itself is easier to copy, but then it's much harder. It requires other strategies to engage the user to create content for you, basically. And the content they created is the best fuel for your structural SEO. So, UGC is the I would say the holy grail of structural SEO, and both companies are pretty good at encouraging structural SEO, UGC, So this is a review of that, and just how. So last, I guess this is at pretty much the end of the video. Like if I take this one example, and then I go on Google and Google vacation home rental Toronto, right? And you see all those companies ranking here, and all of them are taking advantage of structural SEO. And you got Verbal, Expedia, and you got, I don't know the name of this, and I can't pronounce it, Booking.com. You got Airbnb, and so Airbnb is using structural SEO as well. And what we have talked in the beginning of the whole video, it's much more on strategy level. Okay, so how you structure a website is a strategy, but here what I'm going to talk about is at the tactical level, like on those pages, on those different level of pages, what should you put on those pages for you to rank them well on Google? And so that is at the tactical level. So I'm just gonna very quickly run through what I've been talking about. It's what I talk about in all those SEO strategy reviews. I mentioned that, but I'm going to do that again with Airbnb. So basically, on a tactical level, those what I call structural SEO pages, the elements are very similar, right? So number one is having the right keyword at the right places, right? So the right keyword here would be vacation home rental, right? Plus location. That's two main keywords. That's the keyword combination that I was referring to when I was defining structural SEO. So right keyword, right? So that's number one, and in the right places. What are the places, right? And the places will be the page title. So this is on the page title. And then here is the H1. So that's the heading. But then there's H2 heading too, right? So you see the apartment in Toronto. Those are all keywords as well. And then ideally, you have some text content in here to enrich the what's that called? The page, because Google love informative pages, right? And of course, the main part that's actually useful for a user is all those listings, and they are user-generated contents, right? This is the UGC that I was referring to. And so, and naturally, they will have keywords in there, right? So, when I said keyword in the right places, I know, again, it's the page title, URL, ideally static, in the heading, and those in the body, basically. And yeah, that's pretty much the places that I was referring to. And so the kind of third thing on this structural SEO page would be you just need to appreciate the amount of information on the page. It's very informative, and not only the user appreciate that, Google will appreciate that too, right? So make it informative, make it lots of text contents, and make it nice design so that it's engaging, right? So if you have nice design, you will be more engaging, and hence it decrease the bounce rate. Okay, then the kind of the fifth, right? The fifth element is this is called internal links, right? So this links, it's not really particularly helpful for this this page, but it is helpful for those destination pages. So if I click and it goes to Niagara Falls state, right? So this is to help the Niagara page to rank well. So internal links, right? Those are the important elements. And they can also add some FAQ. So to be honest, they don't rank that well compared to Verbal and other websites. Sometimes it's not even as well as Booking.com. So if they were to outrank them, they either need to increase the relevancy or more rich content, meaning that add more such as like FAQs and some sort of reviews that put it on the page, or they should do some PR stunt in order to get more backlinks from major outlets. That way it increase the domain authority, so they can outrank their SEO competitors, such as Booking.com, such as Verbal, such as Home2Go, such as those websites, right? So they even Airbnb is facing huge competition on Google as well. So no shame if your website don't rank well. All right, so I guess last but not least, I would like to talk about the biggest challenge when implementing structural SEO. And so I think the biggest challenge when applying structural SEO is the pushback from your dev team. And here's why. You are basically creating a lot of work for them. And if they don't understand the impact and they don't know why you are doing it, or they don't understand how much benefit that could be for taking the effort, then you're going to face a lot of pushback. And I'm the CEO of a two-sided marketplace, and even if even I get pushback from my dev team when I was trying to implement structural SEO. And also not just those like structural, those are different level of pages, but also you have to create sitemaps to get those pages indexed, right? So sometimes that's why static SEO, static URL is preferred because it's easier for the website to generate sitemap, and then you can submit it into a search, Google Search Console, and you can index it, right? So the biggest obstacle or challenge is oftentimes, from your dev team, right? And of course, you have to hire a right SEO expert. Not many SEO consultant knows the intricacy when you are doing that in a marketplace context, because most of the SEO consultant are good with like regular e-commerce site or regular local SEO. But when you're talking about structural SEO, is e-commerce SEO at scale? Is local SEO at scale? So you have to hire the right SEO consultant. So I guess that's another challenge. But personally, I think pushback from the dev team and also the communication with the dev team is the most challenging part. And a lot of time I have to draw like the sitemaps and what I meant on a whiteboard, and for them to fully understand, and they can plan the infrastructure of website better. Okay. And yeah, so that's the challenge of it with structural SEO. Okay, so now, when do you do structural SEO? That's another question I get asked often. So I would say that structural SEO should be done even very early on. And this get asked especially more often when I'm doing SEO with my client in the past. So
10 o'clock.
When people want to do SEO, they will always think about, SEO is two-part, on-site and off-site, right? Yeah, that's correct. But here's the thing, off-site SEO is very hard to control, right? And if your company don't have very good press or media mentions, or you don't pull any PR stunts, you don't have many quality backlinks, which means that even if you have good structural SEO, most of your pages won't rank well at that point. But here's the thing. From my experience, again, the best way to build backlinks is with PR, and also some other other strategy. You can click on the link here. I done a case study on DataBox. They have a great way to build backlinks. I think you can do that. And also the way that do their what's that called, a review embed. Basically, you can embed a review on your website. So that's a backlink hack. And also things like Twitter, right? You can embed a tweet into a website. So that's a backlink hack. But other than that, typically it's very hard for you to get backlink. So I will argue that in the beginning, even if you don't have high domain authority, you should really focusing on structural SEO and the content and UGC, right? Just focusing on that. And even if they don't rank, and you don't see the full result in the beginning, but once you build up your domain authority, then you will see a lot of those sort of dominated pages just like went crazy on Google. Okay, so that's the another question I get asked pretty often. So that's it for today. I mean, it's another long video, and I'm trying to make my video shorter. But again, I'm having limited budget here, so I don't have the time to make a short video. That's a famous quote. I think it's applicable in my case as well. And so bear with me, but the thing is that guarantee it's all a good content, good information, and I don't share my information based on my reading. I share my all those experience and insight because I've done that before. I have the hands-on experience of doing that. So it's long, but the video is long, but the content is good. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you next time. And if you want me to review any websites growth strategies, comment below, and I would love to get some feedbacks from my subscriber and video audience. I've been making video for a while, but I haven't heard many feedbacks. So, again, I will see you next time. But until then, keep hacking.